You are standing on a footpath looking down a street. On your left is a building. You turn towards the building. You find yourself facing a large rectangular main door. The walls on either side of the door extend in both directions, and in the centre of each is a large window looking out onto the street. You open the door and step into the building, finding yourself in a long corridor that extends to the left and right, continuing at the far ends, around both corners. Light from the street filters through the windows, illuminating the corridors. You turn to your right and look down the corridor. About halfway along the right arm of the corridor, a window on the inner wall, aligned with the outer window, allows a glimpse of the room beyond. You turn and face in the other direction. You are now facing the left-hand arm of the corridor. You see that halfway along the inner wall of this corridor is a door, aligned with the external window. You walk straight ahead, along the corridor to the door, and pause for a moment. To your left, you can see through the external window out into the street. You then turn right to face the door. You open the door and step forwards. You find yourself at one end of a long rectangular room that stretches out in front of you. At the far end is an interior window that looks out to a corridor, which you presume is a continuation of the perimeter corridor that you have just left. On the opposite wall of this far corridor, you can see through another window that looks outside. To your right are two identical doors located respectively 1/4 and 3/4 of the way along the wall. You walk forwards and then turn right to face the first door. You open this door and pass through. You find yourself in a smaller, windowless square room, which has another door in the facing wall. You walk across this room and through the door opposite into the room beyond. This room is identical in size and shape to the first one, being also rectangular. The short wall to your right has a window, which you realise is the one you saw earlier that looks out onto the corridor. To your left, the corresponding wall at the far end of the room has a door, which you turn to face. On your left, there is the door that you just walked through to enter this room. There is another door further along the same wall. You walk towards this second door and turn left to face it. You open this door and step into the room beyond. You find yourself in a second square room, identical to the first, with no windows and another door in the far wall opposite. You cross the room to this door, open it and pass through, to find yourself in the very first rectangular room again. The window in this room is to your right, and through it you can see the perimeter corridor and the external window that looks outside. You decide to explore the perimeter corridor. The quickest way to reach it is through the very first door that you had entered. You turn left to face this door. You go across the room to the door, open it and step out into the corridor from which you first came in. In the corridor, you turn right. You proceed along to the corner and turn right. You walk along the corridor towards the far end, where it turns another corner. Once there, you turn right again. You find yourself facing along the corridor, with two windows in the external wall to your left. In the wall to your right is the window looking into the first rectangular room, and further along is the door, which you deduce must be the one that opens into the second rectangular room. You walk along the corridor towards this door, and turn right to face it. You open the door to verify that it does indeed open into the second rectangular room, noting the window in the wall at the other end, and beyond it the window looking out onto the street. Then you close it again and turn left to face back along the corridor. You continue along the corridor to the corner at the end, and turn right to face down this arm of the corridor. You then walk along this corridor to the far end and turn right again. Now, on your left is one of the two windows looking out onto the street. On your right is the window to the rectangular room. Further along the corridor, you can see the entrance door on your left, and beyond that the door to the first rectangular room, facing the other window facing onto the street. You walk forwards and turn left to face the main entrance. You step through this door and find yourself once again outside the building.